They can all score. They can all create for others. Defensively, they have a great toughness about them, and you can see why they've been so successful this year. When you watch them play, they just don't give up many easy buckets or many easy shots. Everything's contested. Everything is earned.
All right, Curtis from KCEN TV.
Hey, Scott. Curtis Quillen, KCEN Channel 6 in Waco. What would a win tomorrow night mean, not only to you, but to this program?
Well, it puts you one step closer to the ultimate goal, and that's cutting down the nets on Monday night. So tournament started out with 68. It's down to 4. Everybody wants the same thing, and whoever plays the best in that 40 minutes advances. So we'll do everything we can to control what we can control and hopefully be successful and move on.
Mark Berman.
Hey, Scott, Mark Berman from Fox in Houston. How are you?
How you doing, Mark?
Yeah. Hey, would you talk a little bit about the chess match with you and Kelvin as y'all go at each other in this pivotal game?
Well, I think Coach Sampson, I got the utmost respect for going back to when he was at Oklahoma and we first got to the league. And he's someone I've stayed in contact with, learned a lot from, and he's an outstanding coach. The great thing about this time of the year, though, is coaches don't have as much to do with it as the players do. And I know we're going to do what got us here. They're going to do what got them here. And you'll make a couple tweaks and adjustments, but players are going to be the ones that decide this game. And they got a great team. We got a great team. And whoever makes a couple more plays, makes a couple more free throws, takes care of the ball a little bit better, rebounds it a little bit better, that's the team that'll move on.
Rod Walker, Times-Picayune.
Hey, Coach, Rod Walker with the Times-Picayune in New Orleans. I wanted to ask you a little bit about Jared Butler and just what he's brought to this team, not just on the court, but off the court as well.
Yeah, Jared's such a great ambassador for not only Baylor University and Baylor basketball, but for college basketball. He serves on the NCAA committee representing student athletes, trying to make things better for everyone. And he's somebody that when he's done playing, I mean, he can be a governor, a senator, a president, run a company. He's got so many talents and abilities, and most of all, he's humble and really is a servant leader and treats people with respect. Love Jared.
Chuck Carlton, Dallas Morning News.
Yeah, Scott, the Big 12, you saw a variety of styles. And in the tournament, going against Wisconsin, Villanova, who like to slow it down, Arkansas like to speed it up. How does that prepare you for Houston, which kind of plays a different style as well?
Well, definitely, again, it's a blessing being in the Big 12 because you get a variety of styles and things that people are really good at. Kansas State defensively and offensively do a lot of things similar to Houston from the standpoint it's very physical, and West Virginia's rebounding is very similar to Houston's physicality. And at the same time, with Houston, there's a reason people don't score a lot of points against them. Nothing's easy, and points are a premium. So think that we've seen styles like this. At the end of the day, that's what makes March Madness so exciting, though. It's not the best team winning. It's who's best for that 40 minutes, and who's ever best for that 40 minutes as far as taking care of the ball, rebounding it, and making open shots. If you get open shots, that's going to be critical.
Chris Williams, News 10.
Hey, Coach. Chris Williams, KWTX News 10 in Waco. You've talked about the physicality a couple times now on this call already. How much is there a discussion around Vital? I mean, he's fouled out of a couple games this tournament. And then also Mitchell, he wasn't able to be the defensive player of the year that we've seen as much in the second half last week. So how much is that a concern heading into this game?
Really not a concern from the standpoint Davion hadn't been in foul trouble. I mean, that's an exception rather than the rule. And Mark, I know when you got two big bodies and people collide and things don't stand out as much. So this is a physical game. Mark thrives in these environments. So I know our guys are excited about this opportunity, and they're going to compete and play as hard as they can. And in every game, you'll adjust to the officiating. But I would think that when you got grown men hitting grown men, you don't see as much. So I think this is a game that Mark likes to play.
Good luck, Coach.
Thank you.
Zach Braziller, New York Post.
The transfer, Zach Brazil, New York Post, the transfer rule, it seems like it's going to go into effect. Coach, when you look at your team, where you've had guys who sat out and it really seems like helped them, how do you think that's helped you guys get to where you are as a team that year out, where might not happen now moving forward, but it seems like, especially for two of your guys, it's been big for them?
Yeah, coaches are always going to adjust to whatever rules we're given and we deal with. At the same time, there are a lot of blessings to being able to sit out a year, and coaches will all tell you that. For that year that you're out, you learn all the other team's offenses. You learn your team's offense and defense. So the mental prep that you get that year being on scout team is huge. You don't have to be fresh for game days, so you're lifting and working out with the strength coach nonstop. And then you don't have pressure to perform in games, so you can spend as much time in that gym as you want. So it's 1 year basically developing your craft and improving your game. When you're playing games, well, now you have to be fresh for games. You obviously don't get as many reps. You can't do as much extra. You can't work out with the strength coach as much. You can't be on scout team getting all the shots and all the opportunities to learn other teams' stuff. So, again, I know we'll always adjust to the rule, whatever it is. But I mean, we'd all like success right away. Everyone would like to own a company right away. Everyone would like to be a head coach right away. Everyone would like to be in the NBA right away. Sometimes the reality is it takes time to get what you want. You have to work through things. I think that's more the rule than the exception. And you have to go through good times, bad times, tough times to get where you want to go. And a lot of people that have redshirted have had success because of it. And that's why we don't ever make people redshirt. But that's an option that we'll always give them, because if they want to take advantage of that, we're not going to be. We've had players before saying, "Why didn't you redshirt me? If I had one more year, I'd have been." So that's one thing that we'll always give people if they're interested in.
Paul Meyerberg, USA Today.
Hey, Scott, good afternoon.
Hey, Paul.
I'm wondering what you could, if anything, that you might have taken from your dad's first 5 years at Valpo when he had similar struggles. I think he won 35 or 36 games combined, that influenced your decision to take the Baylor job and then gave you confidence that you could perform this turnaround.
Great question. So with my dad firsthand, I remember when he went to Valpo, he was from Mishawaka, and Digger Phelps, obviously he knew him, and Digger's like, no one's ever won there. It's a dead end job. You can't win there. And that I mean, competitors like to hear those challenges sometimes too. And so he went to Valpo, felt led to go there, and from there, obviously it took time to develop a program, but I saw how and what they were able to do and accomplish. And then you can take blueprints from that. Obviously, anytime you're with someone who's successful and you've seen how they've been successful, you're going to use that and try to duplicate it. And I thought at Baylor University, we could do the exact same thing. Being a Christian school, an academic school, a family-oriented school, hadn't had a ton of success. We haven't been in the Final Four since 1950, and won a conference championship since 1950, and a lot of the same things you could use.
Bob Kravitz, The Athletic.
Yes, Scott, Bob Kravitz with The Athletic in Indianapolis. Could you speak briefly to the job that the NCAA and the city of Indianapolis have done to make sure that this thing has gone off pretty much without many troubles?
Yeah, I can't speak highly enough about what everyone sacrificed and done to make this work. And Dan Gavitt and the NCAA and their group putting it together, the city working with us with all the sacrifices they've made. I'm gonna just tell you, in coaching, one of the hardest things, if you ask every coach last year, if it's not the hardest thing they did, it had to be one of the top 2 or 3 for teams that were going to go to the NCAA tournament, to say, you know what, your childhood dream of the NCAA tournament are off. It's not going to happen. I mean, mean, everybody will tell you that was one of the hardest things they ever had to do. At the same time, this year, everyone that returned, they view this as such a blessing. I mean, I know everything in life, there's good and there's bad. We couldn't be any more happy to be in the bubble and a part of the NCAA tournament. And I promise you, every player and coach feel the exact same way. So for us being granted this opportunity, again, the doctors and the medical people, the NCAA, everyone that's made sacrifices. I mean, these memories, I know our players will remember the rest of their life, and I know our staff will, and so will our fans. So thank you for making this all happen.
Jeremy Wu, Sports Illustrated.
Hey, Scott, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, I just was wondering if you could speak a little bit to the sort of unique dynamic within the locker room, particularly with the leadership of Maceo and Mark as the seniors.
Well, we're really blessed because we have a leadership by committee. We have a lot of experienced, mature people. They respect each other. They make each other better. Iron sharpens iron. And when you have someone like Mark that's been in a program for 5 years, he committed to us in 2013. I mean, he bleeds Baylor green and gold. People love and respect him and just how much he sacrificed for the program. Maceo Teague is such a hard worker. Constantly in the gym, constantly working on his craft, and he treats people with respect. So it's easy to follow guys like that that are servant leaders. And then Davion and Jared Butler, and I mean the list goes on and on as far as everybody really respects one another, listens to one another, and because of that, it's a player-led team, and player-led teams are always better than coach-led teams, in my opinion.
Andrew Miner, 247 Sports.
Yeah, Coach, Maceo said that during the time when he was deciding to come to Baylor, transfer to Baylor, that Davion sent him a text, said that he thought that if he came as well, that you guys could get to a Final Four. I was just wondering, what you recall from talking to both of them to when they were making the decision to transfer to Baylor, and if you ever imagined a scenario like this.
Well, the great thing is players want to play with players, and they realize that to win, you got to have other great players around you. And so we're blessed that we got a lot of guys that want to be in the gym, want to get better. They want to have that competition because, again, iron sharpens iron. At the same time, everyone dreams of getting to a Final Four. That's a goal of everybody who plays college basketball. Doesn't always happen. And we know injuries, illnesses, bad games, bad breaks, anything that can affect that. But I think that just shows you what those two were concerned with and cared about, and that was winning and having a chance to be successful. So a lot of times in recruiting, it might be more, well, am I going to get all the shots? Am I going to get all the minutes? Am I going to get this or that? And you could see that those guys cared about a Final Four and winning. And when you get guys that care about the right things, then you got a great team.
Ari Alexander.
Scott, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. You got a freshman in LJ Cryer, who I think you're kind of bringing along, but can you talk a little bit about what he's brought to the team, maybe in the locker room, and maybe the things you're looking forward to him, and how you coach up freshmen for big games like this?
Yeah, well, LJ's somebody that I'd say he's getting a lot of wins in Connect Four and Uno, Cornhole. So everybody has fun with LJ because he loves to play games 24/7. He usually wins, and then he talks a little noise. He does it in such a way that everybody loves being around him. But we all know he's a heck of a player. And again, our guards wouldn't have the success they're having this year without battling and getting better with him every day. And what I love about it is similar to like how Makai Mason and our veteran guards took Davion and Maceo under their wings. I mean, that's what these guys have done with LJ. And I know he's enjoyed having a chance to learn, improve, get better. Because a lot of these guys are 22, 23 years old. And he's a youngin'. You come in at 18 years old. So it's great that he has the personality and desire to want to get better. And obviously he knows he's going to be a huge piece to our program in the future. And right now, like I said, we wouldn't be where we're at without him. I mean, when we go against scout team preparing for games, I mean, he does a great job getting us ready because he's a heck of a player, and he'll embarrass them if they're not performing.
Baylor head coach Scott Drew talking ahead of their meeting with Houston in the Final Four coming up on Saturday. And you can see that game on the March Madness Live app. Be sure to download now. The game tips off at 5:14 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday.
Want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.